Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk specifically about um, knowledge and gaining knowledge, specifically from the context of the film 3,000 Years of Longing. So, 3,000 Years of Longing recently come out. There's spoilers for 3,000 Years of Longing in this content, and so basically, really, really fascinating film and very applicable to dungeon masters. Why would it be applicable? Because we have to deal with Wish. Wish is literally in our Dungeons and Dragons game, and so we need to manage it, right? But so basically, this is an absolutely brilliant film. It's about a narratologist. It's a story about stories, okay? And story is at the heart of this film, okay? Brilliant film, and it's by George Miller, the guy who did Babe, Pig in the City, and also Mad Max Fury did Mad Max Fury Road and did the Mad Max films. He's a brilliant director and writer, and this is a brilliant film. So it brought up, I think what it did was it really pointed me to why Dungeons and Dragons really transforms the lives of dungeon masters. And why it really isn't like anything that came before it. It's not like if you're a reader or it's just a transformative. It's far more transformative in how it deals with story, right? So basically, the story is about a djinn and all the travails this djinn goes through when it reaches its master, and the way that the djinn are supposed to work is, if they can give their 3 wishes, then the djinn can go back to the world of the djinn, and it's no longer enslaved into this bottle, and it can be free, right? But essentially, the person needs to just give their wishes, and then the genie needs to grant these wishes because it's its purpose, right? So one of the stories is a woman named Zephyr, right? So the woman gets the bottle. She opens the bottle, and she's very troubled, right? She is the wife of a specific merchant, of a rich merchant, and she's very unfulfilled, and she is from a different culture, right? And so you get this situation where she's very unfulfilled, and she wants to be fulfilled. She wants to actually make the right decisions and do the right things, right? Like, and she's really struggling in the culture she's in, right? So she goes through. I think she asks for. Oh yeah. So here's her wish, right? And the whole movie is about what do we actually desire? What is good for us? What do we pursue? What can we? What is it even appropriate to ask for? Right? I think that's kind of the theme of the film, and I realized, one of the wishes in this film that is given to one of the people is actually granted to every dungeon master. And this is how our lives are transformed by Dungeons and Dragons when we become a dungeon master. So here we go. Okay, it is. So what she asked for, here's the wish, and it's incredible. All right, so she says, "I wish for all knowledge that is useful, beautiful, and true." And the genie grants it to her. He grants her all knowledge that is useful, beautiful, and true. And that's dungeon mastering in a thimble, right? Like, that is what we're doing. We function as normal human beings until we encounter Dungeons and Dragons. We participate in Dungeons and Dragons. And there's this period where there are lots of people who have run, there's probably a person who's run Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. It was like, that's not for me. I don't like this. I don't understand it. It seems odd. I don't want to have to, there's too many questions. I have to answer the question of every single player. I have to be every single person in this world. I have to decide if there's a storm or if there's sun. I don't like this, right? And so those people, they're really not dungeon masters. They participated in Dungeons & Dragons. They're a participant in Dungeons & Dragons for a brief period of time. A Dungeons & Dragons visitor. It's the best way to think of them, right? But if you encounter, Dungeons & Dragons, and you run it, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I understand this. My job is to deliver a world for these players. I have players and it is my responsibility to make this period of time joyful and winsome for them, right? It is also my job to create a space where they are challenged and to teach them something. When they walk away from the table, they have learned something. They have more knowledge than they had before. And if I'm going to craft a world that is going to be joyful and winsome and challenging for 4 people, and I'm going to teach them lessons at this table, and I'm going to make the time that they have gifted me meaningful and relevant and valuable and powerful, then I must understand the world. I must understand the world's politics, the world's cultures, the world's religions, and there is never an ending to me pursuing knowledge that is useful, beautiful, and true. I must know botany, cartography. I must know, how to portray different people of different cultures. I have to have an understanding of every gender. I have to have an understanding of every preference. I have to have an understanding of every race on this planet and what their different experiences are like, because it's my responsibility to present it, right? And so when we become dungeon masters, we are at that point in the beginning of our quest, and like any other human on the planet, where it is our responsibility to always pursue all knowledge that is useful, beautiful, and true. That's my humble opinion. What's yours? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.